Hello and welcome to HM Land Registry's Protecting Your Property from Fraud series. In part 2, we're looking at Form LL, the counter-fraud restriction. What is a Form LL restriction? A restriction in the property title register limits the owner's ability to deal with the property. For example, depending on the wording of the restriction, it might prevent the owner from selling, leasing, mortgaging or remortgaging the property without taking further action. There are different types or forms of restriction. Form LL is often referred to as the counter-fraud restriction. It reads, "No disposition of the registered estate by the proprietor of the registered estate is to be registered without a certificate signed by a conveyancer that the conveyancer is satisfied that the person who executed the document submitted for registration as disponer is the same person as the proprietor." In simple terms, this means you'll need a professional conveyancer, such as a solicitor, to personally verify your identity before you, the owner, can mortgage or sell the property. It means you'll need to obtain a certificate signed by a conveyancer to say that you, as the registered proprietor, have signed the transfer, lease or mortgage deed. Is that a problem? Not necessarily, but it can cause delay in the transaction process while you obtain the required certificate. Let's recap. People usually apply to enter a Form LL restriction against a property to protect it from fraud. Depending on your circumstances, some conveyancers recommend it. Organised criminals tend to target the most vulnerable properties or property owners. If you add this restriction to your property register, it may make your property a less tempting target for fraud. But having this restriction in your register can cause delays in the process of selling, leasing or mortgaging your property because, as we've said, you'll need to take additional steps. As the property you own is usually your most valuable asset, naturally you want to protect it. If you're living or working away from home, or it's empty for a while, sometimes fraudsters can impersonate the registered owner and sell the property or mortgage it without your knowledge. A Form LL restriction is designed to help prevent the type of fraud in which a swindler obtains identity documents in the name of the registered property owner and uses them to persuade a buyer or lender that they are the true owner of the property. This could be a tenant with access to it or another party. To sell or mortgage the property, the fraudster would have to obtain a certificate from a conveyancer to comply with the Form LL restriction in the register. It could be difficult to convince the conveyancer that they are the true owner, so the fraudster could be deterred from targeting the property. For greater peace of mind, you can also sign up to HM Land Registry's free Property Alert service. Property Alert notifies you when there's activity on the register in relation to the property. As we've seen, a Form LL restriction is an additional step that the registered proprietor must attend to when dealing with the property. A Form LL could be worth considering if you don't live in your property or if it's likely to be left empty for any period of time. For example, landlords when you let property to tenants. If your property is empty for a period of time, perhaps in between tenants or while repairs are carried out. Homeowners, if you have to leave your property empty for a time, if you go into hospital or care, for example, if the property is empty following a death, in certain circumstances, if you need help with your financial affairs. So, after careful consideration, you've decided you want a Form LL restriction in your property title register. What next? Although we recommend seeking legal advice, you don't need anyone to help you apply for the restriction. In part 3 of the series, we'll look at how to make an application to enter a Form LL restriction in your title register. Thank you for watching. We hope it's been helpful.